All right, good morning, everybody. This is Big Boy. Got Ham Radio Cat with me this morning, hanging out this morning, being a pest. Thought we'd talk a little bit. I see a lot of hams asking questions about where to get equipment from and different things like that. And we've talked about this in some earlier videos about, and I try to, about how to do things on a budget. And this is what my channel has always, has always been kind of centered on is ham radio on a budget. Um, HF radio is cheaper now than it probably ever has been in my lifetime as a ham to get into with new stuff, but it's still going to be a little expensive. Um, Certain things you have out there that are always going to be high, different online places to buy stuff from, and I may mention some names here in a minute, and I'm not sponsored by anybody, so don't anybody think that. I'm just telling you places I've seen and places I've bought from. Um, First off, if you're lucky enough to live in an area that has a local ham shop that sells ham radio gear, do your best to support them. I mean, there may be times they may be a little bit higher than online, but more than likely you're not going to pay shipping. You'll have to pay shipping online unless you're getting it on Amazon Prime or something. And support them because they're far and few in between. Um, I happen to live 50 miles from a ham shop, Paris, Texas, MTC. Good shop. I've bought a few things from them over the years. If you need something quick, especially a fitting, cable, something like that, that's a good way to get something without having to order it and wait. Um, where I live, I'm 50 miles in any direction from any major town, so it's just more practical for me to order it unless I need it pretty quick. But I try to support a local ham shop if possible, and that's one I do try to support. Um, I come up in the era of old AES. I've ordered from them. I think HROs took them over, and I've bought from them. There's tons of them out there. So if you're on a budget, if you can support a local one, support it. But you can shop around online. That don't hurt nothing either. That's a capitalistic society. That's the way we work here. Used gear. Um, my first rig was used. I got lucky that a ham had a contact in Dallas of a ham that actually, it is sad to say, I can remember this story now after you telling me about it. I got thinking about this. The ham had gotten Alzheimer's, and his family was having to sell his gear out. And he had a Alcom 701, matching power supply, desk mic, all the boxes, paperwork with it that I was able to get. He went out and picked it up for me and checked it out. And he told the guy that a new ham was getting this radio, and he said, "I think he understood." I'm glad we told him that. So, good used rig. Used rigs are available everywhere. eBay has got listings of them. Quit that constantly. Uh, QRZ's got a page listing all kinds of places you can find used gear. All kinds of places on social media. I highly recommend used gear, but remember, cat, you got to watch. You better know, got to check it, make sure something's working, or you could buy some problems. What are you doing? Get over here. You could buy somebody else's problems real easy. So just watch that. Like I said, used gear's fine. I look at used stuff all the time. In fact, until I bought this Yaesu rig, this Kenwood, the only other new radio I had bought was a Talkie and a Linko single band mobile VHF radio years ago. All my other gear had been used. Don't have a bit of problem. This rotator was used, rotor was used. All my stuff like that I bought used. Bought a few new antennas. But, look online, check the equipment out. Just be aware that if you buy something used, you could buy something that has some problems with it. If you use eBay, look at the seller's ratings. Make sure they package it good. I know a friend of mine bought a rig years ago, but the guy didn't package good, and when he got it, the radio had shifted in transit and broke the desk mic. So that was a bad deal. So you got to watch stuff like that. Which brings me to another old time store that I used to love to go to even before I was a ham, and I hate to see them that they're gone, pretty much gone now, and that's Radio Shack. Uh, I started going to Radio Shack when I first got a driver's license just to look at the stuff. You know, I bought my first home stereo system. I think it was a 500-watt AM FM receiver. I mean, it had flywheel tuning on the dial and all the bells and whistles, big oak cabinet speakers, and actually I had an 8-track play deck on mine that tells you how old I am. And I bought it from Radio Shack in I think about 77, 78. You know, had it for years. Yeah, it was a good setup, good stereo. Used to love to go in there and look at their radios and scanners, and yes, they had everything. Bought TV antennas from them. Back in the day of wideband analog TV, you know, you could buy some really good TV antennas from them that years later we usually ended up making ham antennas out of. You could get push-up poles there reasonable. You know, the only place to buy push-up poles that I know of now is at the ham store, and you're buying a Ron brand push-up pole, which is a good pole, but you're gonna pay more for it. Radio Shack had a membership, something, battery of the month. You got a free battery every month. You got a card to go in there. I never did. I didn't live close enough to one to really take advantage of that. When I got into ham radio, I bought a lot of my coax there. I always tried to buy Amphenol fittings from years ago at ham swap meets, but I have used their fittings and had good luck with them. Radio Shack did sell some 10-meter mobiles, sold some VHF talkies at one time. They always had CBs, uh, you know, old school cordless telephones. All you young people may have to look all that up online to see what I'm talking about, but it was a cool store to go into. I think part of their demise was I don't know, they was trying to carry some big ticket items they was a little too high on, and at the end you go in there, they was hiring a lot of kids that probably knew cellular telephones good, but they didn't know nothing about anything else. And if you had to know, I know for instance, I went in one and asked a guy about some fittings. He said, "We ain't got that." I said, "Have y'all got them cabinet with all the drawers in it back there?" "Oh yeah, it's back there on where all that stuff's hanging up." So I went back there and just went through the bins they had. You know, had like a big roll around toolbox full of bins of PL259s and adapters and all that. Found what I was needing. They carried project wire for antennas. Uh, One of the last things I've done with a Radio Shack was in the Air Force. We bought a big voice system for use in the field, and they wanted a siren system with it. The company we brought it from sold them a really nice PV big voice system and sold them a siren alarm, but it had two different types of siren, but they didn't have a controller for it. But they give you a set of diagrams to build your controller box. They showed it to me. I said, "Yeah, I can build that. Give me somebody with an impact card. Let's go to Radio Shack." Went to Radio Shack, Bossier City, Louisiana. Bought a project box, a couple of LEDs, a couple of switches, $10 cheap pencil iron. And an hour and a half later, I had them a control box built. Bought every bit of it off the shelf at Radio Shack. I hate to see that store go away. Always enjoyed going in there. I remember they had the old TRS-80 computers back in the late 70s, early 80s. Actually, I bought one of them at a ham swap years later. So, anyway, it's kind of fun to reminisce about them old stores. Main thing is, if you got a local store that you can support it if you can. Like I said, I try to support MTC in Paris. Order online and go to ham swaps. That's just how we're going to learn this hobby. Buy some used equipment. If you got somebody that knows it with you, let them help you check it out. Take a chance, buy it. If you can't fix it, if there's something wrong with it, try to dig into it, try to fix it. There's always somebody you can find that'll help you fix this stuff, especially older equipment out there. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Stay safe. I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. We're kind of picking up subscriptions every one of these videos I put up. I enjoy doing this and trying to promote our hobby. This is KB5MIQ Big Boy 73.